to my YouTube channel. My name is Abayomi Adiola Dela, and I talk about different things ranging from lifestyle, business, career, just anything to help people do life better and be better. I hope that you enjoy my content here. If you're new here, welcome. Please do well to subscribe. If you are old here, thank you for coming back again. I really do appreciate it. Last time we talked about when to say yes to a guy and when to ask a girl out. So if you're a guy, I talked about how you can know when to ask this girl out, and if you're a lady, I talked about when to actually say yes to a proposal. So today is something quite related I said I was going to talk about, which is what do you do in a relationship? What do you do in a relationship? I hear a lot of people ask me, Della, what do I do? Like I just said, yes, it's my first relationship. I really don't know what to do. I really don't know what to talk about. Or it's my first time really having a God-ordained relationship in that sense. And I really don't know what to do. We really don't know what to talk about. And it's just looking like everything is becoming boring. Yeah, I'm here to help you. That's the exact question I'm here to answer. So what do you do in your relationship? Find out by watching this video to the end. The first thing to do when you get to a relationship is really to communicate. Communication is so underrated in this world that we're in, especially in the 21st century, because we all think it's about airing your views, saying a lot of things about what you think, saying how you think about this, what your belief is about this, what your values are. Those things are really nice, but you actually need to communicate. So by communication, what do I mean? You want to talk about what you like, the things you don't like, what your partner likes and what they don't like. You also want to talk about your background, right? You want to talk about your church, you want to talk about where you're from, you want to talk about the traditions, your culture, because those things really go a long way in like making sure that both of you go together in the long run. Now, caveat, I just want to put this in. The thing about relationship or courtship that people think is that once you get to a courtship, you must get married. Alright, I'm about to shake that table. No, you don't have to get married. No, you don't. It doesn't have to end in marriage, right? The whole idea of courtship is actually to make sure that both of you are sure you want to go on that journey together. Both of you are sure that you actually want to do this together. Both of you are actually sure you want to end up together. You want to spend the rest of your life together. So while you're in courtship, you're getting to know that person. You're getting to learn new things about them. You're getting to learn new things about yourself, right? And you're looking at, are we really compatible to go into this? So these are the things you really want to find out during courtship. And what will really help you a lot is to communicate. You want to talk about your church, you want to talk about your goals, you want to talk about your vision and your ministry, you want to talk about the things that are really binding the both of you on the long run. And I would really advise that you talk about these things. So I remember that the first month to second month of my relationship, this was something that we really had to talk about, because we realized that this was something that was very important to our future. We needed to know where we're headed to. We needed to know where we came in each other's visions and ministries. We needed to know how we're going to merge the both of them together and how we're going to help each other in achieving our goal and our purpose. So this is something you actually want to talk about. The second thing you want to do in your relationship, yeah, after saying yes, after you're already there on the long run, is that you want to pray together. A family that prays together stays together is the same thing as partners who pray together stay together. And that's the truth, right? The fact that you now start to pray together, the fact that you now start to hear God together on different issues actually makes the bond stronger. Believe me, right? Because you want to pray with that person you are going on a journey with. You really want to hear the same thing from God with that person you are going on a journey with. You want to be sure that both of you are actually in sync when it comes to the things of God. This is something you actually want to pay attention to, and you want to do this during courtship. You don't want to do this even like you're just being friends, or you're saying, no, we're just friends, we're just saying where to lead us to, and you keep doing a lot of things together, keep praying together, keep communicating about serious issues you're not even supposed to be talking about. But really, when you say yes to a proposal, or when you say yes to actually go on a journey with someone, which means that you're engaged or you're in a relationship, this is one thing you both should do together. You actually need to pray together. Pray about your future, pray about your marriage, pray about where God is leading you to, pray about what God would have both of you do, pray about your ministry, pray about your vision, and several other things. Yeah, pray about everything virtually, right? So it's not really about, now it's no longer about just you, it's now about you and your partner, and you have God in the picture, right? It's a triangle, you, God, and your partner, and for every single thing that has to go on, you really have to pray about it. So prayer is one of those things you want to do in your courtship, and trust me, it's not boring when you're with the right person. Don't tell them I told you. The third thing you want to do is actually to make plans. So you don't want to be in a relationship where both of you don't know where you're headed. No, your relationship is a journey of two people to a destination, right? So it means that both of you have a clear sense of where you're headed to, right? It might not be so clear at the beginning, trust me, it might not be so all laid out at the beginning, but you know that this is the direction which you're headed to. Knowing the direction is different from knowing the destination, right? So you need to know where you're supposed to go. If you're supposed to go left or right, it's more like a journey. You're just supposed to understand what strategies are we taking in, what plans are we making in. Oh, we want to go to church together, we want to do ministry together, we want to serve in the same local assembly together, we want to do these things and these things together. You really have to make plans. Now, making plans involves actually looking at your financial plans, looking at your me time, looking at your intimacy time, looking at your family time, looking at how you both want to instill your values and your abilities together. It's a whole lot. So when people tell me you don't have things to do in your relationship, I'm like, guys, there's so much to actually do in your relationship. You keep planning and planning, you keep talking about things that are of great importance, and you just realize that there's so much to talk about that sometimes it looks like they're inexhaustible, and you keep talking, you keep planning, you keep making sure that both of you are still on the right track. And this is why some people still feel like, why are they usually surprised, or why is she always crying when the guy asks her out? Like, were you not expecting it? I mean, I'm still of the opinion that you're supposed to know if you're going to get married to that person, but sometimes I meet you in shock. But actually understanding the plans that both of you have together would relieve you of so much shock or surprise that you might be looking out to meet in your relationship, right? So you actually have to plan a whole lot of things. How do we want to, spice up this relationship? How do we want to communicate with our families? So for us, we had times where we had to like take out time and say, you know what, for this particular hours in this day, we just want to sit down and really make plans. We just want to sit down and really look at what God will have us do. We just really want to sit down and think about how we want our journey to look like. So we had to sit down and say, oh, all right, you want this, I want this. So what's the common ground? Where can we, meet? What can we say we want to do together? What can we say we're not doing? What can we say on the long run we want to actually move on with doing? What are the ideas that we have together that we actually want to move on with? So it was just a whole lot of conversations around our families, how we want to relate to our families. When he was going to tell his dad, when I was going to tell my dad, because for both of us, our moms knew at the beginning, so it was quite easy for us to just run over with it. I usually don't advise people to not tell their parents when they get to a relationship. You probably just want to start with your mom before you go to your dad. On the long run, I had to tell my dad, right? But we had to agree. When do you want to tell our parents? Are you right? When do you want to make it open? When was it? So it was until like 3 months or 4 months before we actually made our relationship open to other people to know that, oh, we're in a relationship. So just depending on you and the discussions you have, that's why you really have to make plans, right? What's your journey like? Do you want to make your relationship secret all through, which is actually fine. But we knew that we had a ministry that we were called into, that we had to do together. So it had to be that we made our relationship open, and for every single thing that we learned in our journey, and we're still learning in our journey, we make sure that we actually share with our audience, right? So you actually just want to talk about a lot of things. It's so wide, it's so broad, there's so much to talk about, right? There's so much to actually make sure that both of you agree on or compromise about. So you just really want to make plans and be sure that you're in sync and in agreement. The fourth thing you actually want to take note of is to educate each other on all of the things you think you need to know. So we have various cultures, we have various values, we have various beliefs, and these are things that our partners actually need to know. Another thing is your background. So I'm going to pick the both of them. So when I first got into my relationship, saying yes and everything, the first thing I had to do was to tell him, oh, this is where I've been through, right? And where you've been through, you actually understand what I mean. So you have to tell them, oh, this was what my journey was like. right, before I actually met Christ, right, and right from after I met Christ, these are the things. So because you don't want them to actually be shocked when they find out some things in your relationship or even during marriage, right? So you want to talk about how your journey was, you want to talk about where you've been to before now. So that's talking about your background or talking about your story. So both of you want to talk about your journey. So I remember that I was actually saying that, oh, these are the things I've done, said things I've done, said things I've done. Are you sure you actually want to go through? And it's like, okay, wait, I think you want to turn this thing to like something else. And then he started to say, these are the things I've done, these are the things I've done. And at the end of the day, I got to realize that both of us actually had our stories, right? And that was when I actually got to find out that everybody has a story, right? Everybody has somewhere they've been through. Everybody has a background. So you feeling like, oh, I've probably had the worst past, or I've had the worst story, I've had the worst background, is nothing, because you actually get to find out at the end of the day that your partner has something. So this is for somebody that you are probably scared that, what if I tell this person this thing and the person runs away? Now I want to say that you have to be able to own your own story, because it's when you're secured in your own story, when you're able to own your own story, that you can actually let other people know where you've been through, where you've been to, and where you are now, right? So they're able to accept every element of you, your past, your present, and your future. And I would love to say that anybody who has to be in a relationship with you has to be able to hold on to your story, has to be able to accept your story, has to be able to embrace every single thing about you, right? Including your history, including what you're seeing yourself as, and everything entirely. So you have to be able to educate yourself. Another thing is your beliefs. Your belief system are quite different, your culture could be quite different, so you have to educate each other on, okay, this is what has gone on in my family, this is what, you know, we do in our tradition, this is something that you also do in your tradition, this is something I believe in, especially when it comes to religious beliefs. I remember one time, short story, I remember one time that I went for a Bible study, and I was also speaking about what I learned about in the Bible study, because I remember the pastor was saying, your boyfriend needs to know this, your girlfriend needs to know this. I was saying it to everybody in the congregation and saying how our partners need to know this. And that night I was not there with my partner, so I'm like, he doesn't know this, so God, though, what's this, like, how will you not know this? So spooking me, I went to see him and I'm like, guy, you actually need to know this. So I started to open the Bible to someone that used to be my teacher, right? He's still my teacher though, but then like I just felt like I learned something new that I really needed him to learn, to you know, hear about. I was like, you need to know this, you need to know this. I started opening scriptures, started showing him stuff, you know, and he was just looking at me like this, like, what's doing you, this girl? You get that kind of thing. So it was not later that I got to realize that, you know, we all have our belief system, we all have our values, we all have things that we believe in, even in scriptures. And what I just needed us to do was just to sit down and talk about it. A lot of things I just started to talk about that night were things that he already knew. Imagine the embarrassment. So like there were things that I already knew, but he just felt like he wanted to, you know, take me. So for backstory, for people who really don't know about my relationship, when I got to know him, it was actually like highly more spiritual than I was. So imagine me just coming as a baby in Christ, or as someone who was quite growing, and he had to take me through a whole lot of things. I had to start learning a whole lot of things from scriptures, through my experiences, from books and all of that. So he was teaching me and guiding me on a whole lot of levels. So imagine I was just bringing something like this to my teacher, and he's like, you know what, like, I know all of these things. I don't know why you're trying to be spooky, but you know, you have to really take things easy. So imagine that we had really talked deep into all of that. It would have been easy for me to even know that he knew that, and he would have even taught me a whole lot of that. But he probably just felt that he needed to take me step by step, and it wasn't something that I had to know rather instantly. So it had to be a step by step thing. So you just really need to do what works for you. You just really need to understand that both of you need to have an idea of what both of you know. So you have to really educate yourself. So the fifth thing you want to do is meeting your family. I know this is the part that people get cringy a lot, like, whoa, when is the right time to meet our families? Do I even really need to meet our families until, you know, I want to go there and tell them I saw a flower in your garden, I want to pluck, and all of those things that we say, you know, or they say, or guys say when they go and meet the family of the ladies. But I say that a lot of times to create bond, because it's something that really helps me, to create a bond between you and their families, you actually want to probably meet up with their families, talk to them sometimes. It might not have to be physical, maybe on a call and all of that. So for me, mine was kind of divine, because that's how I love to explain it. So before I met his mom, or before anything actually happened, she already knew me. Like, she already had seen my picture as a vision and all of that, so she already knew who I was going to be. So when he was actually describing me, she was like, I've seen her before. And for me, it gladdened my heart because it brought some sort of connection. So every single time I had to talk or just about one thing or the other, it was quite easy for us because it was not like two strangers were meeting. So imagine you did not create that bond, or imagine you did not even bother at that time to do anything about it. She already knows you, or your family. At the end of the day, you're going to be family, right? So there's nothing really there. There's nothing really much of a big deal when you just decide to build a relationship with the family of your partners. So it doesn't have to be physical. It just has to be something that you just need them to know each other. You just need them to talk about each other, and before you know it, the relationship really builds. Now, talking about my own mom and my partner, they are quite close, so sometimes they talk about things that I don't even get to hear about, or maybe they just call and talk. Sometimes even before he calls me or before she calls me, they're already talking and all of that. So it doesn't have to be a middleman anymore. It doesn't have to be me saying, oh, okay, now can you talk to him, no. They already had that relationship before, so it was quite easy for them to build on it, and there was no need to actually hide anything from each other anymore. Same thing with his family as well. I could talk to his siblings, I could talk to his mom, he could talk to my siblings. Sometimes my siblings even contact him behind my back without letting me know, right? So it kind of created a bond within us. So there was no really any point to make anything formal. It did not have to be till we want to do our introduction or something before we now start to talk. No, it didn't have to be like that. So the bond was already there. So that's something you probably want to do. You want to meet each other's family, you want to bond with them. It's one of the things that actually spices up relationship. I mean, I've seen it in my own relationship, and I'm sure that it has worked for a whole lot of other relationships, having to bond with their family and seeing that it goes to a relationship that they never even imagined before marriage or before introduction, before anything really formal. The final thing I would love to talk about, which is one thing I really, really love when it comes to my relationship, which is spending time together. Spending time together. Spending time. I really love it a lot because for me it's more like a bonding moment. It's more like a time to talk. And if your love language is quality time or touch, you just really want to see that person, you just really want to be with them, that's something you want to invest in. Now, this is no beefing for anybody doing long distance, because I'm currently doing long distance, right? But there was a time when we had to be in the same place. We're not so far from each other, and I really love those times. And even now, where we're not so close or we're not so together, right, we still make sure we find that time to meet up, talk about things. And even while we're away, we make our time and say, what, we have to do this, we have to go out, we have to. And if you don't watch my video for my mini vacation, you actually want to go like 2 videos away on my YouTube channel to watch it, right? It's there. And I created like a summary of all the things that went down and gave people like the full G's, details you really should know about if you want to plan your own. And for those of you looking forward to your own, like, the video will actually like help you. So that's one thing you want to look at. Finding time to actually spend time together. Yeah, finding time to spend time together. Because it takes a whole lot of work for relationships to actually work. And people don't take cognizance of those things, which is like really, really bad. It can be a pain in the neck if you really don't look at yourself and say, you know what, we really should spend time together. You know what, we really should do these things together. Like, be really deliberate about it. A lot of young couples who are courting or dating don't actually have like one picture together. That's like, together, you don't have a picture together. It's something, even if it's a selfie, even if it's like a picture together, it's like something to really be of concern. You actually should say, for once, let us go out, not just to have the pictures to post on social media and all of this stuff, but just have those pictures to say, these are memories. Creating memories for yourself, creating timelines for yourself, things that you can look up to, creating stories for yourself and say, oh, this was the first time we got to do this was the first time. If you're like me, I love storytelling a lot, and I love to do with pictures and videos, so I do a lot of them. So I'm able to say that these are the places we've been to, this was the first time we did this. Basically keeping records of the things that I've done together. So for you, it could be going to a concert together, going to a crusade together, going to a prayer meeting together, going to a Bible journaling meeting together, going for a mini vacation together, traveling out of the country, having dates, both offline and online. You actually want to try that out. So I hope these tips really help you. If you have any addition, probably something that spices up your relationship, or something you do in your relationship that I did not talk about, you can put it in the comment section. And tell me also if there's something I mentioned that you want to try in your relationship. I'll be so glad to hear that feedback. Let me know if it helped you. Let me know also what you'd love me to talk more about on my YouTube channel. And in addition to that, I really would want to have a friendship series on my YouTube channel. So if there's something you want me to talk about on friendship, please let me know. Once in a while, I'll also be bringing my friends up here to talk about various things, how they handle friendships, how they make more friends, how, you know, and questions, basically questions upon questions pertaining to friendship. Till next time, please subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to like, give this a thumbs up, and share this video to your partner, share it to people in your circle so that they can actually watch this video. Thank you so much. Bye.